Buffalo's Lindy Ruff, who is the longest tenured coach in the NHL, was fired last Wednesday, and it's been a long time since a coach has been fired in Buffalo. He was hired by the Buffalo Sabres on July 21st, 1997. I just finished kindergarten when Lindy Ruff was hired. He had been the Sabres coach for 16 years. In those 16 years, Ruff compiled an overall record of 571 wins, 432 losses, and 84 overtime losses. And when the NHL used to have ties, his teams tied 78 times. While Buffalo held on to Ruff for 16 years, there were 170 coaching changes elsewhere in the NHL. He had instant success in the first 2 years as a head coach, leading the Sabres to the Eastern Conference Finals in 1998 and a controversial 1999 Stanley Cup Finals the next year. The Sabres also made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 more times in 2006 and 2007, losing to Carolina and Ottawa respectively. Personally, one of my favorite memories as a non-Sabres fan of Lindy Ruff happened on February 22nd, 2007 in a game against the Ottawa Senators. All of the shenanigans that happened in the game started when Senators forward Chris Neil took a run at Sabres captain Chris Drury, hitting him in the head from the blind side. There was no penalty called on that hit. Chris Neil did get a penalty for roughing and fighting, and Lindy Ruff was livid not only at Chris Neil, but at the refs. So Lindy Ruff did the awesome thing. He sent the Hanson brothers line against the Ottawa's top line. Everybody in the building knew what was going to happen, and as soon as the line stepped out on the ice, fans started going ballistic. And as soon as the puck dropped, multiple cross-checks and face washes later, an epic line brawl ensued. Even the goaltenders got involved as Buffalo's Marty Baron and Ottawa's Ray Emery fought at center ice, sending Sabre fans into a frenzy and everybody who watched on TV. After those two goalies fought each other, Buffalo's Andrew Peters skated over and fought Ray Emery, his second fight in the line brawl. Even Lindy Ruff and Senators coach Brian Murray got involved into it to a degree, and although no punches were thrown, they just screamed at each other. They screamed their lungs at each other from the benches. It's perhaps the best thing a coach has done after a cheap shot in a long time that I've seen, and it sent a very clear message to the Senators. If you go after us, we'll go after you. However, since the 2006-2007 season that saw the Sabres win 53 games, they haven't performed at that same caliber, and higher payrolls haven't been met with better results. They made the playoffs in 2010 and 2011, but they were eliminated in the first round both times. And every other year since 2007, they haven't made the playoffs. This season, the Sabres got off to another slow start, except instead of sticking with Ruff to ride out the storm, the team felt there actually needed to be a change and let him go. They were 13th in the Eastern Conference at 6-10-1 at the time Ruff was fired, and were 3-7 in their last 10 games at that point. They are now the worst team in the Eastern Conference, having lost their last 2 games. Ruff's firing meant that nobody on the Sabres is safe from losing his job. The team has essentially told players like goalie Ryan Miller and captain Jason Pominville to perform well, or they'll also be in danger of moving. Ruff's firing also indicates that he wasn't getting through to his players anymore. After last season's disappointing end, Ruff fired shots at his veterans while addressing the media, something Derek Roy didn't really appreciate. Roy stated, "To be pointing fingers now is obviously tough. Behind closed doors, I think it's fine. You can be hard. It's not fun, but it's good to be hard on your players behind closed doors on the bench to get them pumped up. I'm not a coach, but I don't think it's the right thing to be saying it in the media." That quote suggests that Lindy Ruff's act was perhaps wearing thin on the team, most notably top center Derek Roy. The combination of losing the team and the poor performance is ultimately what sealed Lindy Ruff's fate this season. Ron Rolston takes over the Sabres on an interim basis. He was the coach of the AHL affiliate Rochester Americans. He's got 29 games to turn the season around and make a push for the playoffs. Because he coached in the AHL, he's familiar with some of the key young players, such as Cody Hodgson and Marcus Foligno. It's really just so weird to see the Buffalo Sabres playing and not seeing Lindy Ruff behind the bench for the Sabres. But it's a move that had to be made, and the end of a very long era for the Buffalo Sabres is history. Coming up on the other side of the break, is Chicago ever going to lose a game?